Yeah, hello.
Stop. Yeah. Long time no see.
Yes, right.
今回の試合、残念な結果だったんですけど、試合を振り返ってください。
So could you give us an overall comment on the match?
He was everything I thought he was. I mean, he's a legend. He's actually one of my favorite fighters, so it was an honor to get in there and fight him. I hit him with some really good shots that the average fighter would have went down from. He stayed up. I kind of felt, no disrespect, but I felt that when he did catch me with the shot that stopped the fight, I felt he had a couple of other shots that he caught me with better than that. So I felt like I still had a chance to fight, you know. But, you know, it's the way the sport is, you know. You get clipped, there's no standing eight count. And I take my hat off to Melvin, man. Like, I had a tough 2-day cut. I stayed dehydrated for 2 days. But I felt good. I'm not using that as an excuse. I really felt good tonight. The opening, from opening ceremony all the way through, man, like, it was an honor to be here and fight for you guys.
まず、相手の選手なんですけれども、思った通りの選手で、彼はレジェンドなのし、素晴らしい選手っていうのはもう最初から分かってたことで、本当にいいショットもお互いあって、自分のパンチもよく入ったと思うんですけれども、それにも彼は耐えてしっかりと立って戦い続けてたっていうところで、私としても彼に対してすごく敬意を表しますし、ただ自分もかなり、彼止められたショットよりも自分の方がかなりいいショット入ったとは思ってるんですけれども、やはり止められたタイミングっていうのもあって、そこはもうこういうスポーツなのでそれは受け止めるしかないと思ってますし、結果に対しても私は今すごく受け止めていい試合ができたとは思っています。言い訳もするつもりはありません。ただこの2日間、ついてから結構体重の調整とかもあって、大変な2日間だったっていうこともありますが、それは全く言い訳にするつもりはありません。
ゴミ選手のパンチ、最後の決まった連打も含めて、いかがでしたか。もう一度詳しく言えればお願いします。
You might have mentioned about the Gomi's punch, but actually after you got his punch, like the last part and the referee stopped, but how do you actually felt about his punch? The impression of his punch?
I felt good. I mean, I felt like the body punch, the straight right he hit me to the body was his hardest punch. I mean, he caught me good to the body with the straight right. That really was probably his hardest punch the whole fight. We traded back and forth a little bit. He punched me in the collarbone. I can still feel that. That's sore. But I mean, like I said, I was never hurt. You know, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you know, I came to his backyard. I would love to do a rematch and actually have a chance to switch my diet up a little bit because it had been 2 years since I cut down to close to 155. I've been fighting these last 2 years at 185, which is too big for me. But at first I was like, I want to come back at 170, but I kind of changed that thought. You know, I'm strong at 60. If they allow me to keep fighting at 60, then I'll make sure I make weight the next fight. And hopefully me and Yomi can do it again without all the modified rules. I mean, they changed the rules on me a few times. No soccer kicks. That's why I had the wrestling shoes on. I wasn't planning on wearing wrestling shoes. But that was conditions of me not making weight, which was cool. And then they turned around and like maybe a half an hour before I had to walk out, they told me there was no knees to the head of a down opponent. And I just felt like that was sabotage. You know what I mean? No disrespect to the company, but if I was going to fight Western rules like UFC, I could have stayed in the UFC. You know, I came over here to fight prior rules, and it was a dream come true, and I didn't even get to do that. So I felt like the fight was kind of fixed, modified for him to not endure some of my weapons, you know. And like I said, I take nothing from Gomi. It's not his fault, but I don't feel like the rules should have changed, especially that late in the game when I was at a rules meeting yesterday and nothing came up. So it is what it is. He won fair and square. I don't take anything from Gomi. He's a legend. He's one of my favorite fighters. Always will be.
まずパンチに関してなんですけれども、それは特にそれほど、ダメージを受けたというよりは どちらかというとボディに入った右ストレートっていうのがすごくいいパンチだったと思いますが、基本的に彼のパンチがすごく効いたっていうことではなかったです。打ち合いをしていたので、それはお互いだったと思います。お互いにダメージを与え合ったかなと思います。で、ちょっとパンチから離れるんですけれども、今この試合全体を振り返ってなんですけれども、ちょっとこの、体重階級、さっきも体重の調整難しかったって言ってたんですけれども、この2年間は基本的に185ポンドの階級で戦ってたので、ここまで体重を絞らなきゃいけないというのは久しぶりのことだったので、かなりそこは難しかったかなと思います。また今回の試合に関してなんですけれども、五味選手と、もし再試合ができるならしたいと思ってます。ただ、今回、すごくルールに関して2点3点したことがあって、例えばレスリングシューズ今日履いてましたけれども、それもなんかサッカーボールキックがある、やっていいやっちゃダメだとかっていうところまた昨日のルールミーティングではそんなこと出てこなかったのに、いろいろと膝直前になって膝から膝蹴りなのか上から膝を入れるのがダメかだとか言われたりして、それは五味選手に勝ってほしい周りの思惑なのかなっていうちょっとその作為を感じたいこともあります。ただ五味選手個人に対しては彼がどうだっていうようなことではないと思いますので、彼はすごくいい選手だし、私尊敬する一人の選手でもあるので、ぜひ再試合があればしたいと思ってます。で、プライドっていうのは私すごく出たい舞台だったんですけども、それが叶わず、それでも日本でこうして今戦うことができているので、また今後期待を持っていきたいと思います。
ありがとうございます。代表質問は以上です。
Thank you.
ありがとうございます。他ご質問ある方、はい、お待ちください。
今朝の時点で大体何キロだったかっていう体重のことと、あと今日レスリングシューズを履いてきたと思うんですけれど、あなた得意なレスリング、テイクダウンを、もっと生かすためのレスリングシューズだったのでしょうか。で、そのテイクダウンに行かなかったのはなぜでしょうか。
There's two questions. The first one, what was the exact weight this morning? And the second question is that you were wearing the wrestling shoes, and I know that you're good at taking the opponent down, but you didn't actually execute today. So, what was happening? Two questions.
I wasn't trying to take him down. That was never my intentions. When they altered the rules and told me there was no soccer kicks to the head and no knees, I decided at that point to put shoes on. I didn't decide to wear shoes until I got here today. That wasn't my intentions. I mean, I wanted to be able to soccer kick him and knee him to the face. I mean, it's prior, it's prior rules. I mean, I spent my whole career fighting for the UFC, and I idolized Kevin Rambleman. He's my idol. He's the reason I fight. And then I get here and I didn't even get to fight prior rules. So, like I said, I don't think it's all going, but I'm not here to point fingers. I'll be ready for whatever they throw at me next time. And as far as the second question, I felt good. I didn't feel I was threatened by anything, and my intention was never to take him down. My intention was to knock him out. And by God, he's got a hard head. He can take some punches for a little Japanese guy. So I was excited to trade punches with him and give everybody maybe a Fight of the Year candidate fight. It's been a while since I won the award, so I'm here to stay, man. I love Rizin. I love the people in Japan, and I want to make this my new home. I plan on coming back.
Actually, the first question was he was asking the exact weight.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. The exact weight this morning was 74.
Yeah, we were
74 kilos. And then I basically was dehydrated for 2 days. I went down to 74.5. Then I had to hydrate back up to come back down. And then he changed it. It was like I can come in at 163, which is 73 kilos.
I was like 73.9.
You're right. And then he changed it again. Like within 2 days, they changed the weight of what I could do maybe 3 times. And I mean, that's my fault. I really thought I could make 60. I just have to switch a few things up with my diet. And I started taking my water away maybe too soon. I should have stayed hydrated the last 2 weeks, and I started already subtracting water. So that's just a glitch in my part. I haven't cut to 160 or 155 in 2 years, so that's just misjudgment, bad judgment on my part. That won't happen again.
ちょっと質問前後するんですけど、まず、じゃあ最初の質問で、今朝の時点で何キロだったかっていうことですけれども、74キロって言っていました。で、ただこの体重の調整には非常に難しかったのが、この2日間で、私が聞いた、スタッフに言われた話が3回ぐらいこの許容範囲っていうのが変わったので、ちょっとそこは難しかったかなと思うんですけれども、同時にこの155ポンド、160ポンドまで絞るっていうのは2年ぶりだったので、そこら辺でミスジャッジがあったのは、それはもう完全に自分の責任だと思っているので、二度とその同じ過ちは犯さないようにします。基本的にはちょっとこの2日間完全に水分を取らなかったんですけれども、その水を取らないタイミングだったりとか、その水分調整のタイミングをちょっと誤ったっていうのが、それは完全に自分の責任です。で、レスリングシューズについてなんですけれども、それはもうテイクダウンするしないっていうのは一切私の中に一切意識はなくて、シューズを履こうって決めたのは本当にここについてからです。で、それ理由としてはサッカーボールキックもダメ、膝もダメって言われたので、もうこれはレスリングシューズを履いて臨もうっていうふうにここに来てから決めました。で、それはゴミ選手の意向があるかないか分かりませんけど、彼自身の問題ではないと思いますので、ただ私はここに来て、プライドに憧れていたこともあるので、プライドのルールでせっかくだから戦いたかったなっていうのもあります。私は UFC 出身ですけれども、ケビン・ランドルマンっていうのが本当に私のアイドルで、ずっと憧れて育った選手でもあるんですけれども、そういう選手たちを見てきて、私もプライドのルールで戦いたいなっていうふうなのがあったので、ただ次はどんな条件だろうと、どんな試合だろうと、それに合わせての準備して臨みたいと思います。ということで、質問の答えとしては特にテイクダウンを取りに行ったわけではないですということです。で、ライジンが大好きなので、すごく日本のファンにも温かく受け入れてもらって、ここを日本を第二のホームにしたいと思っていますので、これからもライジンでぜひ戦いたいです。
はい、ありがとうございます。じゃあ次、最後の質問。最後の質問です。すみません、時間です。
Congratulations on your performance. It's not you expect to lose, but I asking you about your future. Do you still planning to stay active, to take fights and fight with?
Of course.
And when do you want to come back again?
Of course, I'm a fighter. It's what I do. I've been doing this since I was 13 years old. I turned pro when I was 16. And my father is the reason I turned pro. Before he died, he gave me a start. I'm a fighter. I don't decide who I fight. I just fight. I'm not one of those fighters that'll pull out because I feel like the other guy is better than me. I still feel I'm the better fighter with talking on me. If I had to fight him 10 times, I'll beat him the other 9. There's a lot of things that I could have done different. First, I could have made weight. I was dehydrated for over 48 hours. So that kind of stuff, but that didn't really mess up my performance, There's a few things I could have done different. I plan on coming back hopefully in October, if it works around my other bare knuckle boxing fight that I have coming up. I have a tournament coming up for $140,000, and us Americans, we love money, so if I gotta sit out to take that tournament, I will do so. You know what I'm saying? That's life-changing money. But I want to come back to Rizin as soon as possible. If the timeline is right, I'll be back real soon. I was kind of scared that they wouldn't have me back because of the weight miss. I heard Japan is very strict, very traditional, very respectful country. when it comes to that, and it's dishonorable. But I think I proved myself by just dying for 2 days and not eating and not drinking, and it was miserable. It was a miserable 2 days, but I prevailed. I saw through it, and I could see that they really wanted this fight to happen. So I'm glad they let it happen, because I didn't want to fly all the way to Japan just to fly back home and say, oh, I didn't fight. So I'm very happy with my bosses, and like I said, I gave the UFC 13 years. I plan on giving Rizin the rest of my career until I retire.